Chapter 3. The Hero's Tomb. Izuku sat on one of the bar stools, his legs barely touching the floor. The air in the hideout was stagnant, smelling faintly of alcohol and old dust. It was a sharp contrast to the sterile lab he had just left, and an even sharper contrast to the rotting city of his first dungeon. At the far end of the bar sat a boy. He looked a few years older than Izuku, with pale, scratchy skin and shaggy blue-gray hair. A disembodied hand covered his face. "So," the boy rasped, his voice like sandpaper. "You're the player, too. Sensei wouldn't shut up about." Izuku gripped the edge of his seat. "Observe." Target: Tamura Shigaraki, Tenko Shimura. Level: 56. Stats: hidden due to level gap. Threat level: deadly. Izuku swallowed hard. Level 56. He was currently level 13. The gap wasn't just wide. It was insurmountable. If Shigaraki wanted him dead, Izuku would be dust before he could blink. "I'm Izuku," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. Shigaraki turned, a singular red eye visible between the fingers of the hand mask. "I don't care. Sensei says you're important. I say you look like a glitch. A weak little NPC who unlocked a cheat code." Tamura, Kurojuri warned from behind the bar, polishing a glass. "Master Ifo wishes for you to get along." "I'll get along when he proves he isn't useless," Shigaraki muttered, turning back to his handheld game. "Don't die in a tutorial, kid." Izuku slid off the stool, his face burning. Weak, glitch, NPC. The words dug into him. He hated that Shigaraki was right. "I need to get stronger," Izuku whispered to himself as he retreated to the corner of the room. "I need to level up." He opened his system menu. He had farmed the F-rank dungeon 5 times since arriving. Dungeon create, F-rank, EXP gain, diminished 10%. "It's not enough," Izuku hissed. "The F-ranks are giving me nothing now." His finger hovered over the difficulty slider. He moved it up. Warning: creating D-rank instance. Recommended level: 30+ terrain survival. "I can't wait until level 30, Izuku said, the image of Shigaraki's level 56 looming in his mind. "I have to catch up." Dungeon create. The bar dissolved. The cool air vanished, replaced instantly by a wall of dry, scorching heat. Izuku opened his eyes and gasped. He wasn't in a city. He was standing in an endless ocean of orange sand. The sun beat down on him like a physical weight. Instance: the Lost Desert D-rank. Quest: find the oasis. Time limit: 7 days. Environment penalty: dehydration rate X2. A desert. Izuku groaned, shielding his eyes. Seriously. He checked the shop. He bought 3 bottles of water, his points draining painfully fast. He started walking. The D-rank was a nightmare. In the F-rank, the zombies were slow. Here, the enemies were predators. On the second day, the ground beneath him exploded. A massive mouth lined with circular teeth erupted from the sand. Enemy: giant sandworm, LVL-32. Shadow step. Izuku screamed, vanishing into a puff of black smoke and reappearing 10 feet away. The worm slammed its jaws shut where he had been standing a second ago. He swung his scythe, the blade sparking against the worm's thick hide. It didn't even leave a scratch. "Run." Izuku breathed. Just run. He spent 3 days running. He slept in short bursts, buried under the sand to hide from the cold desert night. He was exhausted, thirsty, and terrified, but he kept moving. He had to prove he wasn't just a glitch. On the 4th day, he saw it. Rising out of the dunes was a massive stone structure, reminiscent of an ancient Mayan temple. It wasn't an oasis, but it was the only thing breaking the horizon. Izuku climbed the weathered steps and dropped into the cool darkness of the interior. The walls were covered in faded murals depicting a war between a demon with a scythe and a hero wielding a sword of light. A tomb, Izuku realized, tracing the carving of the hero. This place is a grave. He descended deep into the earth until he reached a massive set of stone doors. Boss room ahead. Izuku didn't hesitate. He pushed the doors open. The chamber was vast, lit by spectral blue torches. In the center stood a sarcophagus, and guarding it was a figure wrapped in tattered, ancient bandages. He wore rusted armor that might have once been gold. Boss, Bahadur, the fallen hero, LVL 40. Status, Curse/Undead. The mummy turned. Its eyes glowed with blue fire. Intruder, a hollow voice echoed in the room. Move, Izuku said, summoning his scythe. Reaper's best friend. The mummy vanished. Wham! Izuku felt the impact before he saw the movement. A bandaged fist slammed into his gut, sending him flying across the room. He smashed into a stone pillar, coughing up blood. HP, 180/450. Warning, critical damage. So fast. Izuku wheezed. He tried to stand, but bandages shot out from a mummy's arms like spears, piercing the stone floor inches from his head. Izuku rolled, dodging strike after strike. He was outmatched. This thing was level 40. He was barely level 20. The mummy grabbed him by the throat and lifted him up. Weak, the mummy hissed. I am not weak. Izuku choked out. He activated his trump card, the skill he had unlocked at level 15, but was too afraid to use because of the backlash. Grim. A massive shadow avatar erupted from Izuku's back, overlapping with his body. It was a specter of death itself. Skill activated. Grim, LVL 1. Effect. All stats plus 300% for 60 seconds. Backlash. Severe pain. Power exploded in Izuku's veins. He broke the mummy's grip effortlessly. What? The mummy gasped. Izuku didn't answer. He moved faster than the eye could track. He appeared behind Bahadur, his side glowing with dark energy. Rest now, Izuku whispered. He swung. The boosted strength tore through the mummy's cursed defenses. The head flew from the shoulders, turning to ash before it hit the ground. Boss defeated. Level up. Level up. Level up. The shadow avatar faded, and Izuku collapsed, screaming as his nerves felt like they were on fire. The backlash was agonizing. But amidst the pain, a notification chime rang out. Quest complete. Reward, S-rank loot box. Reward, 10,000 points. Izuku lay on the cold stone floor, panting. He reached out with a trembling hand and opened the box in the menu. Item obtained. Invitation, description, allows the user to invite an entity from their most recent dungeon to the real world. Izuku stared at the card in his hand. He looked at the pile of ash where the hero had stood. The murals on the wall showed a noble warrior who died protecting his people. You call me weak, Izuku muttered. Maybe I need someone strong to teach me how to be strong. He held the card up. I invite Bahadur. Processing request. Entity found, Bahadur deceased. Reconstructing. White light flooded the tomb. When Izuku opened his eyes, the smell of the tomb was gone. He was back on the floor of the bar. Kurogyari was still polishing the same glass. But sitting across from him, looking at his own hands in confusion, was a man. The bandages were gone. He had silver hair and piercing blue eyes. He was alive. The man looked up, locking eyes with Izuku. Where? Bahadur's voice was hoarse. I died. I remember dying. Izuku grinned, blood still staining his teeth. I brought you back. Welcome to the team. Chapter 4. The Paladin's Vow. The silence in the bar was heavy, broken only by the hum of the refrigerator and the clicking of Tamura Shigaraki's handheld game. Bahadur, the fallen hero, sat on the dirty floorboards. He blinked, his blue eyes adjusting to the dim light. He looked at his hands. Flesh, not bone. He touched his face, skin, not bandages. Alive? Bahadur whispered. He looked up at Izuku, confusion warring with instinct. Then his gaze shifted. He looked at Shigaraki, then at Kurogyari. His expression hardened instantly. The confusion vanished, replaced by the sharp, disciplined glare of a warrior who sensed evil. Demons, Bahadur spat. He moved with a speed that belied his relaxed posture. He lunged toward Shigaraki, his hand forming a blade-like shape, glowing with faint white light. Die, fiend. Whoa! Shigaraki didn't flinch. He just looked annoyed. Hey, NPC. Watch it. Bahadur's hand stopped inches from Shigaraki's face. His body froze, muscles locking up as if he had hit an invisible wall. Veins bulged in his neck as he fought against a restraint. System warning. Friendly fire disabled. Command. Loyalty enforced. What is this sorcery? Bahadur gritted out, sweat beading on his forehead. Izuku scrambled off his stool. Stop. Bahadur, stop. They're allies. Bahadur turned his head slowly, his neck creaking against a magical restraint. He looked at Izuku, a small, bloodied child radiating the dark energy of a necromancer. Allies? Bahadur's voice was filled with disgust. Boy, you reek of death. And these two, they reek of malice. You summoned me for my eternal rest to serve villains. Izuku flinched. The word stung. I didn't have a choice. There is always a choice, Bahadur lectured, finally lowering his hand as the system relaxed its grip. He stood up, towering over the boy. Why? Why bring me back? Izuku looked down at his shoes. He thought about the alleyway. He thought about his parents. He thought about the crushing weight of being weak in a world of superheroes. Because I'm weak, Izuku admitted softly. I have this power, this system, but I don't know how to use it. I just swing my scythe and hope things die. If I don't get stronger, I'm going to die. Or worse. He looked up, meeting the hero's gaze. I saw your mural. You died protecting people. I thought maybe you could protect me too. Bahadur stared at the boy. He saw the darkness. Yes. But he also saw the trembling hands and the desperate, lonely eyes. He realized this wasn't a malicious necromancer. It was a frightened child holding a loaded gun. Bahadur sighed, the tension leaving his shoulders. A paladin does not abandon the lost, he muttered to himself, even if the lost are walking a dark path. He knelt on one knee, bringing himself to Izuku's eye level. Very well, Master Izuku. I cannot harm you, and it seems I cannot harm your associates. But know this, I am a shield, not a butcher. I will train you, but I will not let you lose your soul. Izuku blinked, surprised. You'll stay? I have no choice, Bahadur smirked dryly. And, besides, someone needs to teach you how to dress. You look like a potato sack. From the corner, Shigaraki snorted. Great, now we have a moral compass. Sensei is going to love this. Shopping. Izuku said, opening the menu. We need to get you gear. Points, 10,000. It seemed like a lot until Izuku opened the weapons tab. Holy Sword of Ascalon, S rank 10 million points. Mithril Longsword, B rank 500,000 points. Steel Longsword, E rank 1,000 points. Inflation is a nightmare, Izuku muttered. I require heavy plate armor, Bahadur said, looking over Izuku's shoulder at the floating blue screen. And a shield blessed by the High Priest. You get a t-shirt and a sharp piece of metal, Izuku corrected. After 10 minutes of arguing, they settled on a loadout. Transaction complete. -1000 PTS. Reinforced steel longsword rank. -1000 PTS. Light iron breastplate D rank. -500 PTS. Casual clothing set blue hoodie jeans. Bahadur looked at the hoodie with disdain. This offers 0 protection against magical attacks. It offers +5 style. Izuku lied. Now come on. We need to see what you can do. Dungeon create, rank. The transition was instant. The bar vanished, replaced by the damp, mossy stone of a cavern. Instance, the goblin nest rank. Objective, slay the Goblin King. Goblins, Bahadur scoffed, drawing his new steel sword. Vermin. In my time, we use them for target practice. Don't get cocky, Izuku warned, summoning his scythe. Reaper's best friend. A screech echoed through the cave. 3 green-skinned creatures, barely 3 feet tall, charged from the shadows wielding jagged daggers. Izuku moved to intercept. He raised his scythe, ready to hack and slash like he usually did. Stop, Bahadur commanded. Izuku froze. What? Your stance. It's atrocious. Your feet are too wide. You're telegraphing your swing. Bahadur stepped forward casually. One goblin leaped. Bahadur didn't swing. He simply pivoted his hips and thrust the sword forward. The goblin impaled itself on the blade. Clean. Efficient. The second goblin slashed at Bahadur's legs. Bahadur didn't dodge. He stepped into the attack, using his iron breastplate to deflect the dagger, then bashed the goblin in the face with the pommel of his sword. Crack! The third goblin hesitated. Bahadur flicked his wrist, decapitating it. 3 enemies down in 4 seconds. Izuku stared. When he fought, it was messy. It was brutal. When Bahadur fought, it was art. You rely too much on your stats, Bahadur criticized, wiping goblin blood off his blade. You have the strength of a bull, but the grace of a drunkard. If you fight a real warrior, you will die. Izuku looked at his scythe. Then teach me. Bahadur smiled. First lesson, footwork. They spent a week in the dungeon, 7 hours in the real world. They cleared the goblin nest 3 times. By the 3rd run, Izuku wasn't just swinging wildly. He was learning to parry. He was learning to use shadow step defensively, not just to run away. When they finally faced a Goblin King, a hulking brute level 15 monster, it wasn't a desperate struggle for survival. It was a coordinated execution. Bahadur drew the aggro, parrying the king's massive club with his shield-less sword technique. Now Izuku, the tendons. Izuku flashed behind the king. Instead of hacking at the thick neck, he sliced the back of the king's knees. The monster crumpled. Bahadur stepped in, driving his sword to the king's chest. Boss defeated. EXP gained. They sat on the corpse of the boss, catching their breath. You learn quickly, Bahadur admitted, taking a sip of water from Izuku's inventory. For a villain. I'm not a villain, Izuku muttered. I'm just surviving. Survival often looks like villainy to those who are comfortable, Bahadur mused. But remember this, Izuku, power without purpose is just violence. Find a reason to fight other than fear. Izuku nodded, though he wasn't sure he understood yet. The hideout, secure line. Kurojiri stood in a dark room, facing a monitor. The screen displayed only a sound wave. Report, the deep voice of All for One commanded. The experiment is proceeding beyond expectations, Kurojiri said smoothly. Izuku Midoriya has successfully cleared multiple dungeons. More importantly, he has utilized the invitation mechanic. Oh! He has summoned a hero from the past, a man named Bahadur, a paladin type. There was a pause on the line, then a low chuckle. A boy rejected by hero society, summoning a hero to be a servant. The irony is delicious. Shigaraki is displeased. Kurojiri added. He feels threatened. Good, All for One said. Competition breeds strength. Let them sharpen each other. And Izuku, he is growing stronger. His system seems to be evolving with him. However, he is still naive. He lacks an ideology. He is a blank canvas. Kurojiri, All for One said, his voice dripping with anticipation. And we hold the brush. Continue monitoring him. When he is ready, we will give him a stage to debut. The call ended. Kurojiri adjusted his tie and walked back out to the bar. He found Izuku and Bahadur eating instant ramen. The ancient hero was struggling with chopsticks, while Izuku laughed, correcting his grip. They looked like brothers. Strange, Kurojiri thought. The boy attracts light even in the deepest darkness.